Did he get a face massage?
He's getting a face massage. Everyone needs a face massage. Hi, buddy. Oh, thank you. Where I got his undercoat, he's all nice and clean and dry.
Yeah.
Where I didn't, it's just like either that or that's how he shakes is right here.
Yeah.
Because this is dry. Excuse me.
Winston, you are just such a mess.
You're such
Yeah, he's always just so dirty.
He's just, oh yeah, he loves it.
Yeah.
I think he just loves being dirty.
He's like the pigs.
But then by the end of the day, like as soon as he dries, he'll be clean again. Their fur is amazing. We've never had to wash them, but they always look clean. Well, when they're dried off. Then you got into all the new brambles.
Yeah, I read somewhere that the amount of fur that they have actually helps them stay buoyant in water.
Yep. Oh,
Little tiny air pockets. Yeah, I scooped this. I was trying to figure out where the landscape fabric starts so I can get all the rock off of it so I can...
Yeah, I was just saying it drained.
Oh, it drained, I'm sorry.
Because last night it was full of water,
it was
remember?
Just so much water last night.
It was lots of rain.
So much water last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot. What's our plan?
Today I thought we would talk about the house.
Oh, okay.
So, something different.
And these are probably very, very wet.
They're very wet. Oh yeah. Well, I thought we'd sit up here, but it rained so much last night.
Yeah.
So I guess we can walk and talk. It's just so wet. So wet.
Maybe we can just kind of go like to the collapsing barn and back
Okay.
instead of all the way down.
All right, so we get tons and tons and tons of questions about this house.
The 1930s farmhouse
Yes, the 1930s farmhouse.
that we're slowly remodeling.
Yes. And we get questions about, when it's going to be ready and what are our plans for it and all of that kind of stuff. So we thought we'd talk about it today.
Okay.
And we'll be honest, some things we just don't know. We've changed our mind a lot. So let's start with why it's taking so long to remodel.
Okay.
Well, No. Okay, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, because it's just me.
It's just one person. But so when we first bought the property and we looked at it, we wanted to do as little as possible to the farmhouse. And so we started thinking we would just remove the carpets and then that was it.
Just the carpets or some of the flooring, like the bathroom flooring?
Oh, well,
Or
I guess just the flooring.
Okay.
But yes, just the carpets was the main thing to get the smell out. And we realized once we started pulling out the carpets that it was more than that. And when we realized how much mold was underneath the house, we then started to think, well, is there mold everywhere? And so then room by room, we started pulling away and picking at and taking more stuff down. And the more we revealed, the more work became on our list because we started realizing the extent of the rot, the termite damage, and all of that.
And like, as an example, in the back bedroom that had the big giant opening down the hallway, when we were tearing out the carpet, we realized the carpet was underneath the dividing wall.
Yep.
So that required us removing that wall to get the remaining bits of the carpet out so you wouldn't have that nasty carpet smell
Yes.
lingering
And
in
potentially anything, any mold or anything that could have
Right.
been with it.
So that was just one of many examples of the further along we got into the project, the more we realized how deep the rabbit hole was going to go.
Yep, kitchen floor, another example.
Bathroom floor. Oh, kitchen floor with
Kitchen
the...
floor with the huge
with
just
the-
rot hole.
yeah.
You go through to the basement. The sill plates being rotted out. So, there was a lot of things that got added in. And, Nate's an IT nerd. I'm an HR nerd. Neither of us are professional remodelers. We're both handy, but we've never done large scale. So there was a lot of, consulting, talking to professionals, having bids done.
I'm going to step up this way while you're talking.
And things like that.
Yes, and we're trying to be budget conscious.
Right, because we don't have unlimited resources.
Right.
And a lot of projects had to be put on hold until we could afford to do them. But we don't share all of that along the journey.
We think this is the original foundation for the 1930s farmhouse that we're remodeling right now. And just the living room, kitchen, and the one bedroom off the living room. So the 2 bathrooms and the 2 extra bedrooms in the addition, they were not part of this.
Yeah, they were added in by the previous owner in the 2000s.
So this would add an outside bathroom, an outhouse.
But it's weird, it has a septic.
They may have
Added.
or had like a septic outhouse or something, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of some of, the delay is just, construction takes time. And really when there's one person working on it and, we have animals, we have other competing priorities around the homestead. So we would split our time and we would, try to focus and finish a project. But we realized there was just too many competing priorities. So sometimes, we have a place to live, we have shelter. It's not like we were in a rush. So for us, that was the whole reason we bought the RV, and that was the whole reason that we were okay with it, because we could take our time and we could do it right. We didn't want to finish the house and then have to, remodel it or fix things later on. We wanted to make sure it's like, let's get it done correctly.
yeah, we did that in our Portland house.
Yeah.
Before we moved into it after we bought it, because we were living in your house.
My house, yeah.
In North Portland, and we bought the house in Southwest Portland, and we had the upstairs remodeled. We were doing the remodel, had it remodeled with contractors and stuff. Really, before we moved in, there was some major stuff we did. I guess the kitchen we did.
Yeah, while we were living there,
because we live in the basement. But we did really try to get it done the way we wanted to before we moved in.
Yeah.
But we didn't do the basement until we were ready to sell.
Right.
And we were like, man, we should have just done the basement too. But it's all about cost too. It's expensive stuff. So we didn't want to do that with this one here.
Yeah.
So I mean, hindsight being 2020, if we would have just done a complete demo.
Yep.
And if we wouldn't have taken on things like getting the pigs,
Yep.
getting the sheep, chickens weren't that hard. Trying to also clear some land and land management, then yeah, I could have worked on just the house by itself all the time and it would have gone faster. But that's just not where we were, and that's not exactly what we wanted to do, so we chose to take on some other responsibilities.
And the reason we took on the animals, I mean, you guys see the land. You see the land that we haven't touched yet. This is how everything was. And we do want to bring it back, and we had to have the animals, and we had to clear the land so that we could get to a point where we could farm it and grow things and just kind of bring it back. And, we want to do an orchard, and orchards take 3 to 5 years before you'll ever get anything from them. So we don't want to wait until we're done with everything to start our orchard, because that's just prolonging it. So it's
So basically what we're hearing is competing priorities, one person doing it, not trying to spend a fortune.
Yep.
And there we are.
Yeah.
One of our friends did say, well, if you just spend a bunch of, have somebody come and do it, you spend the money on them, that's the faster you can get either into the house or income from it.
Yeah.
Which is going to probably be the next topic.
Yeah.
But as an example, yes, maybe that's true, but doing all the mold remediation, that would have been $15,000 to have somebody come down and do mold remediation. And it took me, 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months to do it, but it cost us like $2,000.
Yeah.
Just for the materials. So, it's one of those
risk versus reward or
Right.
cost, it's, and I think it depends too. Plus, we're proud of ourselves. Like, look at all that we've accomplished and look at all that we've been able to do in this short amount of time. And I think we've actually done a lot. So yeah, we're plugging along at our own pace, but we haven't given ourselves deadlines. We haven't, given ourselves crazy targets, because that just stresses us out. And the only people that, are waiting for this house to get done is us. So
Yeah.
it's,
Like when we had our kids visit, we made up makeshifts.
Yep.
Let's turn around. We made up the rooms in a makeshift way where they could have their privacy.
Yep.
And they could still live in the house, and space heaters and
beds.
and
So yeah.
plug-in lights or floor lights. So, there is that. Like, we could have, if we did it faster, then our family could come visit earlier or whatever. But really, it's all about. You're right. It's just the only ones really waiting on it are us.
Yeah.
So, what's the next?
So next steps, we've talked a lot about, our goal is to become that we can make all of our money off of this land, whether it's doing rentals, whether it's, crops, animals, eating, growing everything that we eat as much as we possibly can.
Land leasing, selling of timber, there's other ways of making money. There's a bunch of different ways of making money off of property, some of which we've explored and we're not ready for, and others that are going to take time for us to get there.
So one of the quickest is rental income. And so we looked at, we could move into the house and rent out the RV, but we're not set up in the RV to have it really be that exciting of a rental. It's, composting toilet. It's, in RV rentals, you limit your income. It's a 1-bedroom, small. And then you look at the house, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and it'll have all the amenities, yard, all of that. So obviously you'd make more money renting out a house than an RV.
Okay, so you're saying source of income would be rental.
That's where our heads were originally.
Right. And so our original idea was fix up the house, rent out the house,
Yeah.
move the RV or live somewhere else on the property.
Yes.
And I think right now so Katie and I were talking about it. One of the challenges with that, there's 2 challenges with that. Number one, our base of operations is around that house right now. That's because the RV is there, and that's where we spend the majority of our time. So the animals know that as the base of operations.
The dogs protect it.
The dogs protect it. So having visitors, whether it's friends or family or renters, the dogs, still are getting to the point of trying to get them used to having visitors and not just barking like crazy. The other issue is, if we were to rent it out, we need the RV to be away from it. We can't just have people rent the property with the RV 10 feet away.
No.
So we don't have yet a place established for the RV to move to for us to live, to redo our base of operations, to move the base of operations.
Yeah, it would require either us getting a full solar setup or finding a different place where we can mooch stock, because right now we're plugged into the house.
Right, with power.
With power
and water.
And water.
And then we use the house for bathroom needs.
Yep.
So we had the land cleared, mostly cleared around the gray barn, around the pond. And that could be a place where we move the RV to. For power, either off-grid power solution system, or there is power coming to the 1970's house where there's service there. Turn the service on, extend that over back to the gray barn, use the gray barn power for and then put in a septic system for the RV and get the well going, tested going
Yep.
for water. Or we move the RV over to the front yard of the 70s house, which was also cleared. But I don't really like that idea just because it's so close to the road.
Yeah.
It's very, very close to the road. And, you know, we could say, oh, we could do that permanently for a year or 2 years, but no, I really don't like that. So I think what we've decided right now, our plan is most likely, once the house is livable, we will probably move into it temporarily, whether that's 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, we don't know what temporary means yet, but giving us time to work out some of the kinks in the house.
Yep. Make sure it's all good for people to, like for us to rent it out, for family to come visit.
Right.
And it's also going to give us the time to establish where we want to go.
Right, where we want to
the
move
property.
Right, either move the RV or
Start building.
buy a mobile home, plop it down. So more than likely we'll be moving into this house when it's move-in ready. When is it going to be move-in ready?
We hope this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope by the end of this year, yes.
Yeah.
I would hope sooner than that, but things just really do just take time. It's crazy how much time things takes.
Yeah.
So that's it, right?
Yeah. So, and that'll give us time to continue working on some of the other pieces. We'll get the main house ready, but there may be like the front porch, some of the decks, things like that we'll still work on.
Yeah. So there we are. That's the answer. Yeah, Winston's finally on the other.
Oh, it's because it's open there.
It's open, yeah.
I was like, I've never seen him go through the fence.
Which I'm glad he's going over there to scope it out, but that'll also give him access to the fence line between us and the neighbor.
If he catches on, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's smart, so he will.
Oh yeah. He loves to bark at those neighbors, or he loves to bark at noises from that direction.
Yeah.
And so we actually put a fence going down the driveway to prevent him from going into this space here and then gaining access to the fence line.
But we opened this up so we could access it easily with the lawnmower. And as you can see, we started mowing, just didn't finish.
Yeah, I kind of, like when I'm doing chores, I'll grab the lawnmower, put the water or whatever, and then just kind of mow a strip as I go back and forth. But I'm trying to at least have a walking path that's shorter grass, just so we're not getting the chiggers and ticks and stuff as we do chores. But I need to we bought those stretchable metal gate springs, so I need to put one here so it's easy to just go through and then
close that back up
over there and do the same thing for the Winston, what are you doing? What are you, a sheep now?
Buddy, are you checking out the chickens? Huh?
That's what Dorothy would like to do, is go in there.
That's the tiniest little white egg.
That is tiny.
So
Semi-white. It's like just off-white.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday was it was a good day yesterday. Ooh.
I wasn't expecting a chicken in there. Sorry, Elaine. My bad. I'm sorry. I'll leave you alone.
What are you petting me for?
That startled me.
I got 2 more scoops of gravel yesterday.
Yes.
So each scoop, so 3/4 inch limestone gravel, each scoop is 3/4 of a ton, about 1,600 pounds. Got 2 of those, and then I shoveled both of those scoops from the back of the truck into the trench.
Yep.
And I'm now 3/4 of the way down with the trench. So I need to get 2 more scoops today after Kinsley's vet appointment. So.
Looking forward to scooping.
No, I am so sore.
1.5 tons of gravel.
1.5 more tons. So I already did 1.5 tons on Sunday.
And then
did
yesterday.
1.5 yesterday, so that's 3 tons. So it'll be 4.5 tons of gravel just to fill the trench.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and we got 25 tons of the pea gravel, and I don't think that's going to be enough.
I don't think so. That's going to be enough either. So hopefully today I'll have the trench filled, and then I can continue scooping the pea gravel off of the ground where the fabric broke. This looks like a mess over here.
Yeah, I think it rained so much.
It rained a lot last night.
We're gonna have to start feeding them somewhere else, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what this area does once they're away from it.
Well, it'll come.
Like this is where they were there. So the fence line was here. There's a little ridge where they've pushed up a bunch of.
And we put a ton of hay here to try to.
So the fence line was there. We moved it back, and yeah, all of this hay. But it's pretty.
But it's very mushy.
It's pretty mushy.
But a lot of the grass grew back in some spots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see, because they've been in that part of the area for a while, and they dug it out so it's dry in their shelter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they like their shelters.
Yep. Because I was worried that their shelters would get muddy, but nope, they've kind of...
They figured it out.
Yeah, they figured out how to almost like push the dirt and stuff up against the edges so the water's not coming in. Mm-hmm. Very smart animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's my plan. More shoveling today. Kinsley vet appointment. So I'll give you guys an update on that tomorrow. She's getting an x-ray on her hips to kind of see how her hips are looking now that she's, 7 or 8 years old?
She'll be 8 in a couple months.
Yeah, and we're noticing that she's slowing down a little bit. Doesn't like to jump up on the bed as much, so I help her up. Yep. So we're just gonna get a baseline of that, get the skin graft for that spot that hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
So I think they just do a sedation.
Yeah.
They don't do anesthesia. They just, that's
Yeah.
called. They just do a sedation, and then they take her out of sedation with an anti-sedation pill or medication. So should be low risk, but I'm still nervous about that stuff. Hi, Levi.
Hi, buddy.
And let me guess, you're working with meetings.
I am. Wednesdays are busy days.
Yeah.
Look at you, Levi. That's new. He didn't look like that when we started the walk.
Nope. This is why I don't, I've stopped kind of going back to the creek.
Yeah.
Just because they go through, even if we were to mow a path, they go through the...
Oh my goodness, buddy. All right, you're getting some brushing.
He loves the brushing. I think he does it because he loves the brushing.
He's like, all right, Mama, let's do this.
Yep. So, all right.
Sweet boy.
Well, there's our plan for the house.
Yep.
And our plan for today. So we'll catch you up tomorrow. I'll let you know how Kinsley's vet appointment went and maybe some other exciting news. Maybe. I don't know.
And I'll spare you on my meetings. Bye. Are you cleaning yourself, Kinsley?